positivity, motivation. Never settle for average. You know, we do it over here. I know a lot of you aren't going to want to hear this, but instead of making excuses, let's take a look in the mirror and look for a solution. One of the biggest issues in the black community and in households that don't have a father is young men growing up having a lot of anger issues, dealing with a lot of coping mechanisms, conflict resolution issues. And when you look at the real problem, it's not racism, man. It's lack of fatherhood. I seen a guy on Instagram the other day, some rapper dude, he was bragging that he had like 30 something kids, man. I want to say either 31 or 39 kids by different baby mamas, man. And this is the type of stuff that they promote. You know, they don't show the guy who has just a couple of kids and they're very educated, you know, they're scholarly, they're doing the right thing, but they promote this dude with all these different women and then kids everywhere. How's that even a thing, man? 30 something kids? And this dude's in his 30s with 30 something kids? How does that make sense, man? And then everybody want to get mad when Charlie Kirk says
have a father around when they're raised.
I'm not sure.
20%. 80% of blacks do not have a stable father around. It is the most predictable way to end up in prison, end up as a or a criminal. It's not a racism problem. It's not a white supremacy problem. It's a fact that black fathers impregnate women and they don't stay around with the women that they have impregnated.
Charlie Kirk, do you think that happens more in the black community compared to others?
It's threefold. Number one, we subsidize single motherhood. Number two, it's culture. It's accepted in the black community. And it shouldn't be.
Culture. Okay.
Don't take my word for it. Read Thomas Sowell's own book on how black culture allows single motherhood to continue into a nanny state type practice. 75% of black youth are raised without a father in the home. 75%. Is that a bigger problem or not a bigger problem than whiteness, white privilege, or white supremacy?
They should all be addressed and they're all related.
Okay, how is a white person to blame? Wouldn't it be more like smart to be like, hey, that this is not about systemic racism? Like, stop impregnating your women and abandoning them?
Let's see what Larry has to say about this.
The number one social problem in America, by far, is the epidemic not of COVID, but of fatherlessness. 70% of black kids today enter the world without a father in the home, married to the mother, up from 25% back in 1965. Now 25% of white kids enter the world today without a father in the home, married to the mother. And the stats are clear. Even Barack Obama once cited them. If you're raised without a dad, you're 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail. What's happened? In the mid-'60s, with I think the best of intentions, a Democrat named Lyndon Johnson launched what he called the War on Poverty. And since then, we have incentivized women to marry the government and incentivized men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. You know, when I say this to people, the pushback I get is, well, there are lots of things that are going on, systemic racism, poverty. Here's the problem. If you look at a young black male aged 10 to 43, that's young to me because I'm 71 years old. A young black man in that demo is 13 times more likely to be murdered than a young white man, same demo. Young black man, real young, 19 and under, the number one cause of preventable death is homicide, almost always at the hands of another young black male. Same demo for whites, the number one cause of preventable death is unintentional deaths. That includes drug overdoses, automobile accidents, drownings. It's not until they get to number 4 that death is the cause. In America, 60% of the shootings, the robberies, and the homicides are committed by black people, often against other black people. Of the homicides in this country, half of them are black victims, almost all killed by other blacks. How do you explain that if it isn't for the absence of father?
I don't get it. I don't get it. And, you know, one of the reasons I didn't have any kids, well, one of them was during the time I probably would have been investing in having kids, I was locked up. But even before that, I didn't want to just have a kid by anybody. If I was going to invest in having a child, I wanted it to be with someone that I felt I had a future with, and it wasn't just to have a baby, then okay, we got a relationship, but it's not a marriage. There's no value placed on marriage anymore. You know, and it's not just blaming the male, it's blaming the woman too. She's spreading her legs. She letting them skeet up in there. And then, you know, a lot of times she's like, well, I'm getting a check. She's either getting a check from the government or getting a check from him if he's an athlete or a professional or somebody who has a career, but she doesn't want to really be with him because she wants to be in the streets. And those values have destroyed the black community. Women have prioritized the government as the daddy over the man. And, you know, you could call it progressive times, whatever you want to call it, but even though there were still struggles, maybe issues in the family, in the household, when you had both parents in the household, the odds of success for both children, women, young girls and young boys, was a lot more likely when you had the father in the household. And, you know, they push a lot of this, you know, feminist movement so they could think like, oh, we could do it by ourselves. We got careers now. I don't need no man to help me raise the child. I can raise him myself. That's not the point, man. The child needs a father. There are certain things the father is going to say. There's certain tones in the voice that the child's going to respond to. There's certain emotions that the child, when the father is there, they act differently. All these things are impactful, man. I'm not saying that, you know, a black woman can't raise a child, and they have been a lot of single moms who have done it, but why would you choose that if you could have the father in the house? And then trying to normalize that, then you raise a young man and he doesn't even know how to be a father because you don't have the relationship. He doesn't have a relationship with his father, or his father's vilified. I just think that that's something that, if you look at the core of problems in the community, lack of fathers, man. The violence, lack of fathers. And now you got 2 or 3 generations of young men who have no fathers, so they don't know how to be a father if they had to. And then when they go to prison, then they get out and they want to build a relationship with their kids. But their kids don't want nothing to do with them because they feel abandoned. And then it just repeats the same cycle. You got to get to the core of the problem, man. And family values, and, you know, the Sunday dinners, you know, family outings, stuff like that, man. It's so important, even though I know a lot of people don't think so. And, you know, they allow their kids to be raised by video games and you know, the internet, but there's more to it than that. I'm no expert. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that, you know, I have all the answers, but I know that young men, when they ask me questions, they are desperately seeking male approval, male guidance, male influence, and it's a big problem, man. It's a big problem in the community. And even these guys who have made it, when you see them get up there, then they're doing weird shit. That's because they didn't have no dad. They might have made it, but they get up there and they crash out. A lot of them crash out because when things started hitting the fan and they're looking for what to do, their mom can only tell them from a female perspective. They're not getting anything from a male perspective. They're not getting that father-son type of security or embracement. And that's big, man. But hey, man, I'm just here to share a message. You can take it or leave it. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment and let me know what you think, man. I know that I know I was always jealous of guys who had dads growing up. I always wish I had that type of relationship with a father figure. You know, somebody who really pushed me or who seen interest in me. And my mom did what she could, but you know, I always wish I had a dad, man. I'm not crying about it. I'm not making excuses. I'm where I'm at because I had the drive, and I feel like I you know, created that belief in myself. But young men need a dad, man. BigHerc916. Don't forget to stop by the BigHerc916 store and pick you up a sticker for your car, or a patch, or a sticker for your laptop, or maybe a beanie, or read one of the many books that BigHerc916 has authored. You know how we do it.